Hello everybody, and welcome to another of my videos for Dungeon Crusher Soul Hunters. I am re-recording all of my earlier videos, first of all because the sound was absolutely terrible, and second of all because I've learned a lot more since most of the ones I recorded. So today we're going to go over Siege, the Siege events. Okay, so with the Siege events, you saw me click on it right there. It's on your main screen, and you just click. Basically, the whole point of doing the siege is twofold. Okay, so you have your individual siege that you're going to be doing. The higher up you get in the point rankings, the more shards you can get for this guy. He's the top boss that you'll fight. Um, some of the top bosses are really cool to have. Other ones are not. Um, I'm gonna guess if you're watching this video, you probably don't have these guys and you're not gonna get first place, so we're just gonna breeze over that one. However, if you're able to go ahead and get around 230 million in siege points um, each week, you should be able to qualify for the 250 ranking area and be able to get 100 shards. You need 2,000 shards to be able to get this hero. Some of the heroes are super awesome, like I mentioned, like Kulazar, who's in week 3. That is something you definitely want. Frombus, who is also in week 3, is pretty good as well. And then Hydra, which I believe is in week 7, is a great attacker for League. But the more important thing for all of these is that as you get them, you get this bonus here of 10% per each of these for the weekly rating points. And by the time you get to where I'm at in the game, that is really all that matters, is that 10% bonus. Um, because the higher your 10% bonus, the less items you have to use in order to get better scores. So that's the main reason why you're going to want to go for these. The other part about doing Siege, we're going to scroll down quite a bit here, is that the first thing, your first goal when you're starting out this game is to get these heroes right here. So you need 4 million points during Siege in order to get him. Okay, that's why we call him the 4 million point hero, or 4M hero for shortcut. So this is your first goal, is to get these 4M heroes, okay? Then your second goal is then to get these 230M heroes, okay? So again, just like every other week, some of these heroes are good, some of these heroes are bad. These two are actually fairly decent. They're not terrible. There are a couple that are very terrible, but these guys are pretty good. And the thing about these guys is they're both elves. And because they're both elves, you can use both of those in a league team. So it'll help you out in a different aspect of the game as well. All right. So goal 1, get the 230, or I mean, get the 4 million point hero and get him up to Galactic X in ranking. We'll go over that in a different video. Uh, Goal number 2, get the 230M hero and get him up to Galactic X as well. All right. And so, as you can see, as you get points, you do get rewards as you go up. Um, and each one of these is individual. So let's say the first one that you killed is a 10,000 point boss. So you'll get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You get 5 of these bugles in your reward pile. And then you would also get, if we keep scrolling down, these down here as well. So you would get 5 guilds and 10 shards. 5 more guilds, 10 more shards. 10 guilds, 10 shards, and so forth all the way up. So after you kill your first one, you'll get all of these in an email, and then you just collect them. Okay? And then as you get more points, then you get cooler rewards, like you start getting bottles when you get up here to 105,000 points. And then more bottles at 500,000. And then when you get up into the millions, then you get bottles for each level, right? And so it's good to get those extra rewards, but we're not here just to get bottles. Okay. Again, our point is first of all, Aelred, second, this guy, and third, this guy. Okay. Now it'll take you a number of weeks. I am so far behind on getting most of these guys. I think I only have Kolazar. So, and there's 16 of them. So there's a cycle includes 2 weeks. So you have 1 week with all one boss, and then you have another week where it starts back over at week 1, and then you have a whole nother set of bosses. And then I can show you that here real quick, because I have some shards for each of those bosses. Um, let's scroll down. Here we go. Okay, so for week 1, you will either have the spider dude or the, I don't know, Medusa chick. I don't know what she is. What is she? She's an elf mage. Okay, so the elf chick. So these two are on week 1. Brol Milak and Ebnord are on week 2. Kulazar and Frambus week 3. Munis and Varzalos are on week 4. Munis is the second best of these to get because he deals massive damage to 3 different people, but then he also silences them so they can no longer use abilities. So that is a huge, huge thing, and I am currently trying to get this guy. And then as we go down, Kamazatz, he is similar to LG, where he does revive undead allies. LG revives any ally. This guy does only undead. Davy Jones and Tagum. Tagum's pretty good. She silences everybody when she enters. That's what the cursed part is. However, if they have immunity to buff, that doesn't work. So keep that in mind. And then here's Hydra. Hydra's really cool, especially in League, because he does damage to 5 random enemies. But there's only 4 enemies in there, and this gets around sneak. So if your opponent has either fortitude on it or sneak, not fortitude, I'm sorry, defender. Defender means that everybody attacks that guy only. This one goes past that, so he will attack any of the 4 that are there. Sneak is the other thing. It says this guy gets hit last, and so this would hit all of them, not just that guy. At least I think so. I've never tried it out. I'll try it out eventually. Okay? But anyway, he's really cool. All right? So that's what I have for them. Now, let's get into the siege, what we're going to be doing. So, the clan part. So then there's also clan rewards. And if you're pretty low on in doing this, you're going to have to need your clan mates to do this stuff for you. But if you have a really good clan and you get in the top, you'll get these mythical orbs, which will help you out later. You'll get these horns, which are kind of nice. More horns, and then more of this stuff. So, these shards are going to be hugely important to you. Emeralds, I should say, not shards. Emeralds are insanely important to you. We'll go over that in a different video. And these guilds are very important as well. So let's talk about those guilds real quick. In order to get to certain hidden bosses that you track by just, doing this normally, you'll see a few different ones. One of them is the Black King, and it's pretty, pretty cool to get him and kill him because he'll give you a medium rune chest, which gives you an attempt at getting some good runes, and we'll talk about runes in a different video. But then also the one that you're really looking for is called Dradar. You've probably seen him in your um, your own inventory of heroes, but he's a special boss. And what happens with him as a special boss? Why is he not doing weird? Okay. So what does when you here, I'll show you because I have one killed in my mail. Here we go. So what happens is once you kill him, he drops this adventure chest right here. Okay. Now in this adventure chest is a map. Okay. The maps look like is the auction map. Oh, it's in here. So the auction house, search, find a map. Okay, so you'll find this here map. When you use this map, it summons a no, I don't want to buy it. It summons a hero or a special boss, right? And that boss, then what happens is if you kill that boss, and it's by the time you can get these, you're probably able to kill him with like 10 or 20 power attacks. But after you get that, then the next guy drops these blueprints. Okay, and so the blueprints, you can again summon him, and that guy's a even harder guy. He is going to take you a while to kill. You probably are not going to be able to kill him unless you have at least a 230M hero and a, I don't know, 20 to 100, maybe 50, maybe 100 power attacks. Then, once you're able to kill those guys, the next thing you have are these Raven Tusks right here. So the Raven Tusks then bring a guy named Kazinchik, something like that, and he is super, super, super tough, and you're not going to be able to beat him for quite a long time. One of these days when I go over a new Rune Week video, I will show you what that guy is like. You have to have a specialty team for him, one that silences people, or else you're not going to be able to beat him. And then finally, after he is beaten, and if you do what's known as MVP, which is more than 50%, and you're going to have to do that for everybody. Drader, for Carmel, for Tin Man, for Kazinch, and then also for, if there's any, Trent, or not only Trent, but Peach Needle Seed. So Peach Seed or Trent Seed. You're going to have to, and that guy's like super, super, super tough. Um, and then if you beat that guy, then you get all kinds of cool rewards. Now, the bigger thing about these are these maps are going to be there for you, and if you get 12 of those maps and you keep them from the first one, that'll get you entry into a top clan who will be able to help you get the Black King chest during Rune Week. So getting those 12 is going to be very key to your game. Right now I only have 3 maps, but once I get 12, I can go to a clan that's trying for the 55 billion chest, and then hopefully have a shot at being able to do that. Even if you can't kill your maps, what'll happen is you can give them to somebody that can, like myself, and then you'll be able to touch them, and then you'll get the points for it. You'll get some points for it, and then you'll be able to, the other person will be kill it for you, get the next boss, have you touch that one so you get points, and rinse and repeat until you get your own personal maximum score. But just having them and giving them away is really what the key is. Now, you're going to need 26 maps if you go for one of the 110 billion clans going for that chest. Okay? But we'll get into that under a Rune Week video, okay? But I just wanted to make sure that you were aware that this is something that you're going to be looking out for as you're doing Siege. Okay, so now the next thing we're going to talk about is we're going to go back here and we're going to make your deck. So you're going to have a good deck in order to do Siege. When you first start, you're not going to have these guys, and you're not going to have this guy. All right, so you'll probably have a bunch of these guys, You might buy a gun. These are called guns. You might buy a gun. There's one for each week, 8 total weeks. I don't know where mine are. 4, 5, 6. Oh, here, 7 and 8. There we go. All right, so those ones you might buy one. They are available for like a $10 pack. You can borrow them from people who are cool like myself. They'll let you borrow them. But each week that you have them, that specific week has bonuses. Okay, so this is this week's gun, and during that it gives a times 100 bonus to all stats when attacking a clan boss. It's also known as a DH. I'll show you that here in a minute. Besides that, attacking clan bosses, it doesn't really have any bonus. The only bonus it gives you is that it is, um, I think it gets a 10% chance. Here, click this one. Dragons. Yeah, so it doesn't really give you any bonuses other than it deals a massive 100%. And here's the power of it. You don't have to level these things up, so this is the power that they attack with, which is going to be huge compared to anything else that you can. Because when you're first starting, you might have this guy, Kurthro by the time you're doing that, and you can see mine's at Galaxy X, and it still has less damage than that gun. More than likely, you're going to have something a little bit worse, like maybe Augustin, who is only at 65, 650, no, 65,000. And so, during that week, you will have the 4M guy, if you get the 4M guy, to be able to increase your total power, but more than likely you'll be with some of these other guys at first. Dackett might be there, Macarian. These are the heroes that you're going to use in your first deck. When you're attacking some of the intro bosses, you're going to be using like Dendi, and you're going to be using Drador. There he is. So again, that's the special boss, but you're going to be using those guys to attack, and I'll make another video about intro, because I'm going to go through the game little by little and show each one of these. But I'm assuming that you're a little bit advanced, and that's what this video is for. So you're either going to be using a gun as your first one, or you're going to be putting in your 4M hero or your 250M hero. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to go ahead and add him in. We're going to add him in. Now, all you need is 2 attackers, guys. Just use 2 attackers. No more than 2 attackers. And so as you're doing these attacks, you're going to want buffers after that. Okay? Just all buffers, 2 attackers. And we're going to go from there. I'm going to add in... Okay, you're not going to have Pumpkin Duke, but I'm just going to add Pumpkin Duke, okay? Because he's the easiest one to find. So you're going to have 4 buffers up here, 3 buffers here, and if you're fortunate enough, you're going to have LG. And so you would put LG in here so that he could revive people as they die, okay? So let's save. So that's what your deck is going to look like. Now we're going to go ahead and summon a boss, and we're going to attack, okay? So the point of this video is not how to farm bugles. The point of this is to get as many points as you can, okay? So during the top boss, which there are 5, top boss hour, which there are 5 of per day, you're going to get in here, you're going to kill as many bosses as you can, okay? And so the bosses will vary in strength throughout the game, depending on how many guilds you have. I have lots of guilds, so I have the top bosses. Okay, so some of these battles will be easy for you, some of them will be hard. Okay, And so that one's a super easy battle for me. It might not be a super easy battle for you, but that's okay. Just keep with it. The principles will stay the same. Okay? The point is to get in here and attack these bosses. You're going to want to use power attack for the very longest time because it gives you a ×5 bonus to your damage and the strength of your guys. So you're definitely want to do that. The other thing you're going to have to watch out for, and there is different strategies for it, is you can see this guy came in and he silenced my guys. So this guy can't use his special attack right now. He can just use his regular attack, which as you can see is still pretty really good because it's taken that guy pretty well. And it looks like he does silence even when Brain died. He does silence on hit during some of his regular attacks. Okay. Now, you might have also noticed there that LG died. So LG's going to die. He's an overrated hero. It is nice to have in case he doesn't die, but he's going to die most of the time. So unless you have a sneak rune, then you're not going to want to use him. I mean, you put him in there, but don't rely on him to like be the most awesome. So I'm going to go ahead and put Kolazar in. There he is. Because my Kolazar does have sneak, okay? But he also reses 4 people instead of just 2 like LG. But I just want to be able to show you some of the battles on what could happen with that guy. All right, and the key to this is speed. All right, so typically what I do is I put 4 of these out there right quick. I'm gonna go ahead and kill this one because I was the first one to get it. So the key is speed. The more of these that you summon, the quicker you can attack them, the more points you get, the higher you can get up to get your 4M hero or your 230 million hero. All right, so all of my guys just died. So now we're going to summon my back row, which is going to be the next 4 people. 1, 2, 3, and 4. So these guys are all buffing, right? That's the whole point, is to buff so that your guys attack stronger. And so now these guys are going to attack these other ones. Kolazar is going to bring them in. They rebuff these guys and Kolazar after they die. So he brings in 3 more. They'll probably die off again, like that. Kolazar will bring in 3 more. More buffs, more buffs, more buffs. Now, the other thing is, you can see that little mad face. That means they have rage, so they attack each other, which kills them off and allows Kolazar to get them back out quicker. All right, so that's the point of Kolazar. Now, the other thing is, we're going to take her out because we don't really need that, and we're going to put him back in here. So this is normally where you're going to have him. You're either going to have him here or here in your normal siege lineup. Okay, so either the second spot at the bottom or the third spot at the bottom. Over here, once you're fortunate enough to get it, and we'll talk about Arbiter some other time, but once you're fortunate enough to get it, you're going to get this green Arbiter. Okay, so I'm going to add him in. So the first Arbiter you're going to get is in the intro Arbiter. He is right here. So you're going to get him. He's pretty good because well, it doesn't show it there. He gives you a 25% event bonus. Okay? But your second one that you're going to want to get, no matter what, choose the Green Arbiter. Because what the Green Arbiter does, let's go ahead and attack a few things here. Okay, top boss hour is over, but that's alright. Go ahead and attack this guy. By the way, you can get Traders and Black Kings any time of day with enough practice. It's all based off of percentages. You get most of them during top boss hour, but you can farm for them outside if you really want to. All right, so my guys are killing each other, right? Bring in new guys. So that didn't work. All right, let's find some bigger bosses to show you what I want to show you. Here, let's try the 62,000 or 62 million. Alright, so in this one, what we're going to do is hopefully these guys will die off quickly. Two new heroes. See, and this is why you typically have Kulazar in your second position, because if you have two guys die, then he'll come in on round 2, right? All right, so now Kulazar's in. Here's your Arbiter. What he's doing is see this little symbol? He gave that symbol to 3 of these guys, or to 2, it's supposed to be 3. So he gave it to 3 of these guys. That allows them to use their special ability more often. Gives it a higher percentage of use of the special ability. And so whatever their special ability is, like if we go back in here, Kulazar's is of course to resurrect people. Arid's is to shoot. He's got a 30% chance to shoot 3 random people for a higher percentage. And then Home Slice here will give you 1 random person at 400%. Okay. And so your goal is to get them to trigger those as much as you can. And then we'll go and take a look at the Green Arbiter here. He adds 20% chance to the ability to produce a special attack, right? And so add that 20% into Kulazar's natural 50%. So 70% of the time, Kulazar is going to be reviving 4 allies at max health. Okay, so that's why we want to get him. All right. So that's what we have. Okay, so this is typically what your lineup is going to look like. Okay, until you get higher and higher and higher. Now, the one thing you may notice is that when I'm creating my siege thing, my guy here is more powerful than the 230M hero in his week. Peach Needle is not. Okay, so depending on what buffers you have, you may want to use the 230M hero instead of Peach Needle or even Necro Warrior. Also, depending on how many Valors you have on them. We'll talk about Valors in a different video. But right now, my Void is actually better than the 230M hero, who in his week gets a 20%, or not a 20%, but a 20 times bonus to all his stats during his week. So take those stats, multiply them by 20, that's what you get. That's why they're so powerful. Okay, now for me, as advanced as I am, and all the cool heroes I have, let's pretend like this is just these 2 guys. But one strategy you can do is you can put these 4 defenders in there who are going to get killed first. And that's the whole point. You want them all to die the first round. And then what will happen is when those 4 guys die, these 4 guys enter. Okay? So you still have 2 strong buffers here, and then a strong buffer here, Kulazar and Green Arbiter. Okay? I put Mictlan first so that he will buff these guys as soon as he comes in. Let's say only 3 of these guys die, then Green Arbiter would come in and give them their bonus, but they wouldn't get the buff from him. So I'd rather have that. Your mileage may vary. Decide what you want to do. But the point of this deck is that these guys die, he comes in, these guys die, they resurrect, buff him, and then they will kill each other, or they might attack him, but it doesn't really matter because they're not going to kill him. And then Kulazar will bring them back, plus 35% to wisdom, plus 50% to wisdom, plus 150% to wisdom. And you want your biggest buffers back here because as they enter, the order that they enter, that's when Kulazar is going to resurrect them. So more often than not, these 2 are the ones that Kulazar is going to resurrect over any of these. Okay, so that's why we have this set up. And then, so like in the beginning, if this guy or even tag him who on entry silences everybody, they're going to silence these 6 and not your main attacker or your reser. Okay, so that's why this strategy is a good strategy. Okay, but this is advanced work. And so for this is the deck I use all the time. And before I had him, I used Peach Needle. Even though he has less here, the buffs that he gets from Mictolin give him a lot better damage than the 230 in here. Okay, so just keep that in mind as you're building your deck. Try it out and just try whatever works for you. All right, so then what you're going to do is on a normal siege, you're just going to start tapping, bringing people in, bring them in, bring them in, bring them as many as you can do, 4, and then you're going to hopefully get a top boss. The whole point is to kill as many, just touch, you don't even have to kill them. Hit the top boss, do a little bit of damage, and then move on. Let somebody else kill him. I do have a video with a really bad deck, and it's a bad sound, and I'll have to remake it later when it's a top boss hour. But during those videos, I have one of the worst decks you could ever possibly build, and I was still able to make 15 million points in like 15-minute session. Okay? So that's really what you're going to be going after, is those 15 million point sessions. At first, when you're first starting, because that will give you your 4M hero, right? And then you can, so within 8 weeks, you should be able to have all 8 of those heroes. Some people are just freaking out. Oh, I can't do it. I can't do it. It's because your strategy's bad. So please look at the strategies, learn that you can do it, and then apologize to me for telling me that you can't do it, because I've proven everybody wrong. Okay? Alright, I appreciate you watching this video. It was pretty long, but you can fast forward through it while you're hearing this at the end, but, you know, get what you need out of it, and then just elevate your game, guys. That's really all I want you to do, is to elevate your games. Okay? If you have any questions, leave a comment. I'll get back to you as soon as I can. Appreciate you watching your video. Invite your friends. Have a good day.